Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome to another week of Love Wisdom with the Sacred Heart Awakenings Facebook group, but also on the YouTube channel as I provide some love wisdoms there as well. And these messages come in inspired and guided, and also from requests from the group members in the Facebook group of topics they would like to hear about. So in this week's Love Wisdom, we'll talk about the power of loving self without conditions and what's really holding us back from that. So how to embrace that self-love within us. There is what is keeping us from being that unconditional love of self, that is. Did you know that the major leading cause of the block holding us back is our lack of worthiness in ourselves? That is one of the major blocks causing this unconditional of self-love, holding us back from it. So loving, think of it as, being more open without having any conditions, that is. So that's what we're going to talk about in this video. So welcome for those who are watching live, and those who are in replay land, you're most welcome here. And for those who don't know me, I'm Monica Bermudez. I am an intuitive self-love energy healer. And I would like to just go over some cases or stories of, what's really happening around the world with the majority of people in this block that is really occurring. It's a common theme for so many, especially those gone through some romantic heartbreak or some other form of heartbreak, of course, but mostly of the romantic heartbreak. And then I'll share some tips or keys to help you start to work on embracing that unconditional self-love, because it does take a daily practice to do. It's not just something that you do overnight. And I would say that for me, in my case, my personal experience, it took me so many years to really become more mastery into this whole technique of unconditionally loving myself. And yet I'm still learning, I'm still growing. Just because you become a master doesn't mean you're perfect either. So it didn't take me until much years later to realize how much I was struggling with this whole thing with lack of worthiness. And it's until I had my most intense heartbreak with a divorce that led me down this path of my own spiritual, deeper awakening to realize so many things going on with my own lack of worth. And all of that was causing a block in loving myself completely and fully, which I now fully embrace. So it's been quite a journey to get here, and that's why I share these messages with you, to inspire you, to uplift you, and to remind you of the great power you have inside of you. And certainly you don't have to be alone to do all this type of work. There are so many cases of people of this commonality syndrome, as I may call it, where they lack this unworthiness. It's about 40 million or so cases of it. And it leads to such things as depression and abuse of drugs and alcohol, and even to the point of suicidal. So it is a very serious case. And it does concern me a lot, and in the fact that I want to reach out to people and let them know that you're worthy, and you really are worthy because you carry the divine spark inside of you, and you've always have been. And sometimes it may just take this reminder to help you with that. So just wanted to also let you know some of the factors that do cause some of these lack of unworthiness is mainly due with the comparison of others. We have this tendency as humans, And it may be a societal programming, a way that the media does certain things, where the media, the commercial, advertisements, whatever, that shows too much of this competition and comparison, self-image of how somebody's supposed to look. If you're prettier, then they get all these things. And so we have a tendency, it's a human nature, to look at all that and compare ourselves to others and say that if I don't win this, or if I'm not prettier, then how am I even worthy? But believe me, you are really worthy. And you don't need all those things, because all of that is already inside of you as an infinite source. You just have to remember and reconnect with it. So oftentimes we spend our time, most of us, which I did too, looking external, looking for those who will love us and making us feel that we were worthy, when in fact we had it all inside of us this whole time. So no need to be searching outside when you can build a foundation inside of you, of your own self-worth and your own self-love. Now I would like to share some sacred keys to help with this daily practice of embracing your own self-love. Number 1, you have to learn to forgive yourself, or do a daily practice of it. As the first step to that one, first part is accepting the pain, or acknowledging that that pain really did happen, and just getting past and not dwelling so much on the pain, but just taking that and just learning from that mistake, or whatever regret you may have or shame of it actually happened, that to let that go and just focus on what it is that you needed to learn from. Now, we all serve as mirrors to each other in any relationship, especially when it comes to very romantic relationships. That mirror gets bigger because you're with that person on a constant basis. So you're just learning so much from each other at a very deeper level. And so that is the point of us to really, once we start to use that to our favor in our own learning process, is when we start to grow up spiritually. Now there is an ancient Hawaiian prayer. It is called Ho'oponopono. I don't know if many of you have heard of it, but you can find it on YouTube. You can find it on websites. It's very popular. But that is one tool to start to help you in forgiving yourself and in loving yourself. Now, I don't remember the prayer word for word, but I do remember that it starts off by saying, I'm sorry, please forgive me, I love you. So it is a form of an affirmation, but it goes even deeper. You could use this as meditation tool, prayer. It's very intense. So it is an ancient Hawaiian prayer, but I was intuitively feeling that it actually comes from the ancient civilization of Lemuria, or Mu, because Hawaii used to be part of this big continent of Mu in the Pacific Ocean. So Lemuria and Mu were always about a community of oneness and unity. And that is what we're all heading towards, is community and unity. So no more of this duality and polarity, but being able to balance with it. Knowing that it is a part of us, the shadow is a part of us just like the light. It's just knowing how to keep that balanced. And it's all just a learning process in everything we do. Which brings us to number 2. You want to practice accepting yourself. You want to let go of these limiting beliefs. Like, what are the things you like about yourself? For instance, you could start reflecting on that. What are the things that you like about yourself? Focus on that. I was reading this article. Actually, it was like a video, and it was called Comfortable. Can't remember. I think that was the title of the video. But they had this interview with adults where they were asking them a question, a very simple question. If you can change one thing about your body, what would it be? If you could change one thing about your body, what would it be? So of course, all the adults were saying, oh, I wish my legs were longer, or I was taller, or, they were very focused on specific areas in their body, their facial, what have you, it's a whole range of answers that they got. So then they took this same question to the children. And these were children of, all ages. And they asked the same question to them. What, if you can change one thing about your body, what would it be? And most of the kids would just be like, I don't know. I thought it was really cute, but it was just funny and adorable. And I just loved their answers. And it just showed how much of that changes as we grow older. Some of the answers that the kids would say were like maybe like a mermaid tail, or having wings so I could fly. And I thought, wow, that's really creative. Wouldn't that be nice if we had wings? But the point is that they were focused on other things, not so much, their own body of what they had. And then there was a point where some of the kids said, nothing. I really like my body. I really like the way I am. And so it just says, speaks volumes that as we grow older, when we start to experience life, we start to also, change certain perception, or we get into this whole competition because that's the way society has engraved us. We start to look at others in comparison and saying who is prettier, who is not, because they have certain things in their life, or their body is a certain way. And so that's when this whole thing with our own self-worth and self-image starts to unfold and develop. So now, accepting yourself is just letting go of those limiting beliefs. What are those limiting beliefs in you? First of all, that's one thing you want to start to reflect on, right? What is it that is holding you back from making yourself worthy and accepting yourself just the way you are? Because if a child can say, I'm fine, my body is fine the way it is, why can't you? And maybe this is a time to tune into your own inner child. And maybe there's some trauma there that is still buried and stuck, and maybe under the rug that you may not even be aware of. Things that just get patternized, recorded, encoded into the cells, into the DNA. And some of this may extend even to past lives, right? It's reincarnation, karma. It's a law of cause and effect. So it may be so engraved in us that we may not even be aware of, that it's just buried under the rug. I'm just using that as an analogy. It may be so hidden that you may not even see it or be aware of. But you may have a feeling of it. For me, for my own unworthiness, I didn't realize it until much later, until I really was reflecting on it. And even though I had achieved so many things in my life, being successful career and education, I just felt, what was it then that was making me feel at this unworthy level? And that would explain why my romantic relationships were not the greatest. When I started to reflect on the toxic, the unfulfilling, the unhealthy type relationships, that there was something going on at the karmic level of the many human lives that we experience. And we go through our own traumatic experience of our own death in those lives, or suffering and pain for being different. But now, though, those things are changing, so it is time to start letting go of those limiting beliefs in your system, because this is the time for it. The energies are in favor. We are now about to enter into another full moon cycle, and this is going to be a partial lunar eclipse. So it will bring up certain feelings you may have not known you still had in you. So that's what eclipses do. They pull out stuff out of you. Focus, letting you see that there's this shadow aspect as well for you to become aware of, for you to transmute and shift. Because it is time for the healing in order to move forward, to do the work that we come to do here and build new communities and societies of oneness, of unity and love. And so this full moon being in Gemini is a duality, right? So making a choice whether you want to stay stuck in those limiting beliefs, or you choose that you want to move forward and let go of those limiting beliefs. It's your choice. I personally would rather move forward, and I hope you would also choose the same. So the next key are practicing affirmations. So affirmations are a power source as well. It's another tool you can use for reprogramming yourself. Even if you may not at first believe it, you can start to say it and set the intention that you really are that new affirmation. For example, you want to say, I am worthy, and just keep saying it and repeating it and making it a daily practice. And it just becomes part of you, because words and thoughts do have power. And no matter how you use those words or think of it in that way, they have power, whether they're negative or positive. So just be consciously aware of how you use those words, because they also form a part of creation and manifestation, and we hold that power in us. So use that power for the good, for the highest good of yourself, the highest good of humanity, and those around you, of course. And the fifth one is, when life gets rough, you definitely want to be there for yourself. So there's been a tendency that we tend to abandon ourselves when things just don't go right or don't go as we expected them to go. So this time, treat it as something different and be there for yourself. You fight for yourself with love, of course. And this is how you build your boundaries as well. You want to give yourself supporting words of uplifting and inspirational ways to make you feel better, or find other means, words, and energy support in what it is that you need when something just doesn't go the way it's supposed to go, or things go wrong, things become rough. And then there's times, there's days that we have rough days. It's just part of the process here of being human. But the key is, helping and supporting yourself first, and treating yourself well, and just giving yourself the care and the time that you need to get past that roughness. Okay, so the last key actually is connecting with those supporting communities that embrace you and support you. Groups of communities that embrace love, that uplift, that inspire. Communities that, for example, like the Sacred Heart Awakenings group, that is my intention actually, is having the Facebook group to be a community of love, where we all respect each other, where we love each other the way we are, where we all come with our own unique background, but yet we embrace each other and support each other, where we inspire and uplift each other. That is the intent of this community for the Facebook group. It's for you to also feel empowered and have a place where you can go and say, this is where I can find my self-love, my self-worth, and self-respect. So it's a place also to remind you of all this that you already have. You already know this. It's just a reminder. It's all. And then there's also connecting with those mentors and healers, support groups that you connect with, a friend to also help you with anything that is going on in your life. So there's no need for you to be alone, to be isolated, to do the things, that you need for support, for embracing your own love, embracing your own self-worth. So these are the keys to start to do on a daily practice. They're very powerful keys. They're keys that help me go through the many changes and shifts that I did. And I had done so much, and I also went through a coach and a mentor that helped me polish even deeper, because we're always expanding, we're always growing, we're always learning. It's an investment on self, and all the things that you start to do for yourself is investing in yourself, in your own self-love, your own self-care, because you're worthy of getting your own love. You're worthy of having your own respect. So why not start now? Don't let external forces, including yourself, tell you otherwise. Because the ego personality will tend to speak a different story, say a different statement. But within your own heart, of your own soul, there's a different song, and that song is telling you that you are worthy and you are loved. Now, if you do want to go deeper and deeper into support, I offer in the Facebook group members of the Sacred Heart Awakenings, a complimentary breakthrough session that helps go deeper within the heart to explore the layers of the patterns, the karmic and ancestral, and to assist energetically. It's like an energy diagnosis of the support that you need so that you can fully activate within your own heart. And I use light language. That is my form of energy healing. So if you're really interested in trying it out, just visit my website and click on Apply Now. I would love to connect with you and support you in so many ways. And of course, there is a free gift for those who don't know. 9 Signs Your Heartbreak is a spiritual awakening in disguise. Because that's really what it is when you're going through a heartbreak. It's really just a wake-up call for something else in your life that is coming in, that is new, that is a new opportunity in so many levels. Whether it's a new soul purpose calling that is calling you, intertwined with a new lifelong partner in your life. And we deserve to be in healthy relationships because we're worthy of it. And just remember that. So I'll just share, I was watching this, it's a documentary, actually it's on Amazon Prime. And it's supposed to be like, I guess, a continuation of The Secret. I don't know how many have seen the movie The Secret that came out a long time ago. But just recently, this year, they came out with a new one. It's called Beyond the Secret, The Law of Attraction. It's The Awakening, I believe is the title. And so how they define the law of attraction in this, and I'll quote from the documentary, it says, When you see yourself as more, you have more. And so just keep that in mind, that it is all just inside of us. Every source of divinity, spark of love, is all inside of us, and much more than we can ever imagine. As I have experienced myself, my personal experience, which I share with you as a loving guide and messenger. So I do hope this has helped, and I look forward to your comments and your feedback or questions if you have any. And what is your takeaway from this video, your top takeaway that helped you? I would love to hear from you. And so I look forward to connecting with you in the next video. So for those who may be watching on YouTube, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, as I share more love wisdoms in there. And I'll connect with you in the next video of another love wisdom topic. So stay tuned, and much love to you. Namaste.